What is going on, folks? It is Rigor Mortis. We are back with yet another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about a stock that's near and dear to my heart. That is CCIV, Churchill Capital Corp IV. We talked about this stock a lot on this channel, especially as it was starting to boom. And I even talked about it when it came and dipped down all the way to around $20 or so. What I want to do for you guys today is tell you guys exactly what I'm doing when it comes to this stock, the positives when it comes to it, the negatives, and everything in between. You guys know that I keep it a buck around here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do for you guys today. If you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button, join the family. We are growing like crazy, and I can't thank you guys enough. Throw a like on the video, let's get it out to more people. Last but not least, comment down below. Let me know what you think about CCIV. Last but not least, once again, because I always forget, please guys, I just became a Weeble affiliate. Your boy's official now. Link in the description. Hit that link. Deposit $100. Get yourself some free stocks. It helps me out. It'll help you out. It is just a great way to support the channel, and I really appreciate it. Let's get into it. Let's not take any more time up. CCIV. Now, this thing has been going up and down and up and down. It's kind of been bouncing all over the place. That being said, we cannot, we can't talk about the stock without talking about how it hit $60 in mid-February. Now, this was fueled by a lot of things, guys. First of all, market sentiment during this time was at an all-time high. We know that right after that mid-February mark, we had this huge crash in the market in general. Not a crash, a correction or a dip. Number two, this was during the SPAC boom. You know how we talked about this before on this channel. At the end of at the end of 2020, or even towards the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, we had this huge SPAC boom, and it seemed like everybody was investing in SPACs. You can go back and look at the stocks that I was talking about on this channel during that time. They were largely all SPACs. Now sentiment has gone down a little bit when it comes to SPACs. I've even I've stopped talking about a lot of them, but of course you guys know that I'm still holding on to my shares of some of those SPACs because I really believe in them. Lastly, we had this huge EV boom, and we're still in this huge EV boom, and I still believe in EV. But that being said, we kind of have encountered this EV fatigue a little bit. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It seems like everybody and their mom is coming out with a new EV vehicle, or a new EV, I should say. So that's why I think personally we saw this crazy correction. And not to mention, of course, that there was a lot of hype regarding this stock. I mean, it's a SPAC. The institutional investors are not the only one that can eat when it comes to these. And that might have fueled it a little bit. But that being said, we're sitting here now at $23.20, so we have to make a decision as to whether or not we think that this stock is going to go back up. We have to think about whether or not we want to trade it in the short term, the long term, if we want to swing this thing. I'm going to get into all of those things here today. But newsflash, I'm long on CCIV, I'm long on Lucid Motors, and that's what largely I'm going to be talking about today. So if you're new, you already know that, or if you don't know, that CCIV is merging with Lucid Motors. This is an EV company that specializes in high-end luxury vehicles. I'm not going to get into exactly what they do. There's plenty of videos of that on the internet. What I like about Lucid is that they are going to be a direct competitor with some of these higher-end EV vehicles, obviously, or EV cars. Obviously, Tesla is the king right now. We have to admit that. But that being said, Tesla does have higher end EVs. And I think Lucid might be a close competitor when it comes to Tesla. I'm a big fan of Tesla. You don't have to search any more than just right here to find a fan of Tesla. I'm a big fan. That being said, I think that good competition is going to be great for the market because it starts making Tesla and a company like Lucid Motors, it starts to build a little bit of competition, and they make it so that they have to have competitive prices, continually reinvesting in R&D. Things like that really build a good market sentiment. And it makes it so that we can have access to these vehicles a little bit better. Now you see the Tesla Model 3. Thing is pretty cheap. I mean, I shouldn't say cheap, but it's at a price that's quite affordable compared to a Model S or a Model X, for example. Just examples here, folks. So CCIV. Let's not talk about Tesla for too long. I understand a lot of people were putting a lot of money into this stock whenever it was at around $50. Something that we have to understand when it comes to CCIV and Lucid Motors. What is the target audience when it comes to these electric vehicles? In my opinion, I think they are targeting the more wealthy folks. That being said, I think there is a large enough market for them to capture and be successful essentially. But you have to keep in mind that as of right now, from what I see personally, they are not trying to target the everyday folks because they're luxury vehicles at the end of the day. So are they going to be as big of as Tesla? Who knows when it comes to the actual vehicle itself? That being said, we talked a lot about how Lucid Motors is also in the energy business, just like Tesla is. Storage solutions, how to better efficiently charge a car, how to better efficiently store energy, electric energy. That is what really sets these companies apart. Are they just an EV company that makes a vehicle, or are they really in the energy space? And I truly believe that Lucid Motors is already in that energy space, and they will continue to expand as we move along. Now, we know that this vehicle is set to come out later this year. Of course, the timeline is still tentative, but things that I'm seeing on this Lucid Motors YouTube channel just keeps making me more and more bullish when it comes to this stock. Of course, guys, we have to take everything with a grain of salt, but whenever I see the CEO driving down New York City in the Lucid Air, that grabs my attention. And obviously, he even admitted there's a few tweaks that have to be done when it comes to this, when it comes to the Lucid Air, when it comes to their vehicle. But that being said, those small problems are nothing compared to actually seeing this car driving on the streets of Manhattan. And that being said, we see that Lucid is not only starting to expand over the United States, but they are specifically focusing on New York City. We know that New York City is going to be a potential huge EV hub here in the next few years, and Lucid has recognized this, and they started expanding into the New York area. And I think this is great for Lucid Motors to have a headquarters there in New York, because it's going to allow them to start potentially distributing those vehicles locally in the New York area to those, those one percenters, I'm going to call them, the folks that are slightly richer. And then after that, we can see whether or not this project is going to take off later this year as they start expanding across the whole United States. These are the things that I really like to see when it comes to a company. What are you doing with the money that you're racking in right now? Obviously, this deal, the SPAC merger, is supplying them with a good amount of money, but the company is going to need to be carried by their vehicle, essentially, by what they do, vehicle and energy, I guess you can say. So those types of things are yet to come. I think that this thing is going to blow up overnight? I really don't know. I think all the hype has died down. The people that are investing in the stock now are the people that really have conviction when it comes to CCIV. That's why, you're not going to see a bunch of views on this video, because there's just no more hype anymore, guys. Now we have to look at the long-term investors. Now we have to see the people that really think that this stock is going to do good over the long term, how they're going to be putting their money in. Now, as I start talking about this price and what I'm doing personally, obviously nothing I say is financial advice. Please go out and do your own research when it comes to any stock I talk about. But this thing is sitting at $23. Imagine if you could go back in time, when Tesla was in its infancy, and invest in Tesla at $23. Obviously, everybody would take that opportunity. Obviously, this is not the same thing, because if you go back in time, you mitigate your risk. Your risk is essentially zero, because, well, close to zero, unless for some reason going back in time you changed something and made Tesla unsuccessful. But that being said, this is one of those opportunities where if we look back in 10 years, are we going to say, wow, I should have invested in this stock when it was sitting at $23? Or are we going to say, wow, that project was a really good idea, but it just failed on the execution? Either one of those possibilities is true. But for me personally, and of course, you have to look at your own portfolio, guys. But for me personally, this is one of those opportunities where I do not want to look back at all and have regret. I want to say that, hey, either way, hey, this thing did well, I made some money and I'm happy about that. Or you know what? I invested in something that I thought was a great idea. It didn't do so hot, but it was a learning experience nonetheless. Obviously, guys, every portfolio is different. Everybody's risk tolerance is different, but that's what I'm doing personally. I just bought this stock for full transparency. Of course, I had some shares from before when it first really dipped, but I bought more shares yesterday, full transparency, because I think this company is going to do well. Even though SPAC sentiment is down right now, even though we have EV fatigue, even though it's aimed at the top 1%, I think that they are going to be able to expand, first of all, and really make a vehicle that's for the people, not just for the super wealthy. And I think that they're going to do well long term. These are just my thoughts and opinions, folks. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. It's my favorite thing to do, is read through your guys' comments. I try to get to every single one of them, but things get busy sometimes. Leave a like on this video. Let's get it out to more people. Grow the family. And as always, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. It turns out barely any of you are subscribed that are watching this video right now, and that's okay. But if you want to do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that Webull affiliate link. Like I said, your boy's official now. Deposit $100, get yourself some free stocks. Appreciate you guys watching all the way through. This is your boy Rigor Mortis. I'm out.